Systems of quadratic equations. There can be two different systems of quadratic equations. The first one is a linear quadratic. It can have no solution. In the graph, it doesn't have an intersection. It can have one solution, which in the graph has one intersection. Or it can have two real solutions, and in the graph it has two intersections. The second system of quadratic equations is a quadratic quadratic. It can have 1, 2, 3, or even 4 real solutions, and the number of solutions indicates the number of intersections. Let's solve a linear quadratic equation with the elimination method. So in this example, we have y equals to x squared and y equals to x plus 2. So in the elimination method, our goal is to eliminate a common term. So I'm going to eliminate the y by multiplying y equals to x plus 2 times minus 1. So by eliminating the y, we're going to get x squared minus x minus 2. Now we're going to factorize that into x minus 2 and x plus 1, and making this equal to 0. Now we're going to get the x-intercepts by making x minus 2 equals 0 and x plus 1 equals 0, which means x equals 2 and x equals minus 1. Now to get the y, we're going to solve the first equation we had, but substituting that with the x we just got. So we have y equals to x squared, which is just like the first one. And we're going to change the x into 2, which makes y equals to 2 squared, which equals to 4. And now we're going to make the same process but with the x equals minus 1, which in the end gets us to y equals 1. Now remember that these equations make a graph, so you need to get the coordinates 2, 4, and minus 1, 1. Now we're going to try a linear quadratic equation by a substitution method. In here we have y equals to x squared plus 4x minus 2, and y equals to 2 times x minus 2. So in here, we're literally just going to substitute the y into the other y that we already have. So we're going to put it in one line. 2x minus 2 equals to x squared plus 4x minus 2. Now we're going to pass variables into one side and numbers into the other. So minus 2 plus 2, 0, and x squared plus 4x minus 2x equals to x squared plus 2x. So now we're going to factorize that into the least we can have. So 0 equals to x times x plus 2. So one of the x-intercepts is x equals to 0, and the other one is x equals to minus 2. Now we're going to get the y just like we did with the elimination method by substituting the x that we already had with the first equation from the beginning. So y equals to 2x minus 2, just like the one that we have in the beginning. And we're going to substitute that with the 0, which gets us with y equals to minus 2. Now we're going to get the other y, which is y equals to 2 times minus 2 minus 2, which is y equals to minus 6. And don't forget to make them coordinates because we're going to graph them eventually. Now we're going to solve a quadratic equation with the elimination method. So we have 9x squared plus y squared minus 90x plus 216 equals to 0, and minus x squared plus y squared plus 16 equals to 0. In here, I want to eliminate the y squared, so I'm going to multiply the second equation times minus 1. So by eliminating that y squared, we're going to get 10 x squared minus 90x plus 200 equals to 0. We're going to simplify that into x squared minus 9x plus 20 equals to 0. And that trinomial, we're going to simplify it by factorizing. And we get x minus 4 times x minus 5 equals to 0. Now we're going to get the two x-intercepts, which are x equals to 4 and x equals to 5. And let's not forget that we need to substitute that x with the x's we have in the beginning, in the first equations, which means 4 squared minus y squared minus 16 equals to 0. We pass the numbers on one side and the letters on the other. 16 minus 16, 0, equals to y squared, which is going to be y because square root of 0 is still 0. And now we're going to do the same with the other x, which means 5 squared minus y squared minus 16 is 0, which is 25 minus 16, numbers on one side, equals to y squared. Here, we're going to have square root of 9 equals to y, which means the final answer is going to be plus minus 3 equals to y. So now we're going to try a quadratic equation by the substitution method. We have 10x squared plus y squared equals to 100, and 10x squared minus y squared equals 100. So we're going to make the first one into y squared equals 100 minus 10x squared. And now we're going to substitute that equation into the second equation we have there, which is 10x squared minus 100 minus 10x squared equals to 100. So that equals to 10x squared equals 200. And now we're going to divide 20 by 200, which equals x squared equals to 10. Now, to eliminate the square, we're going to have to make a square root in the number 10, which is going to eventually give us x equals plus minus square root of 10. Now, as the other substitution methods, we're going to substitute that plus minus 10 plus minus square root of 10 with the first equation we have, which gives us 10 times plus minus square root of 10 squared plus y squared equals 100. Here it's very easy to eliminate the square with the square root. So it's going to give us 10 times 10 plus y squared equals 100. Now we're going to pass the hundreds to one side, and it's going to give us 0. And the square root of 0 is 0, so y equals 0. Now the coordinates, don't forget them.